Bowhunt or Die is being brought to you by Matthews, Lost Camo, Lone Wolf Portable Tree Stands, Hunter Safety System, Heartland Wildlife Institute, New Archery Products, Tinks, Carbon Express, Stealth Cam, Moose Utility Division, Lacrosse Footwear, Scent Blocker, Pine Ridge Archery, and Can Cooker.
I'm Todd Graff.
And I'm Justin Czar.
Welcome to another episode of Bowhunt or Die. You know, before we start this week's episode, we want to talk about a couple of things. One of the big things we want to talk about, Justin, is our show and its relevance to the hunters that watch it.
Yeah, specifically what we want to talk about is the fact that the show is pretty much close to real time. And what that means for you guys, obviously, and for us when we're making the show is that when things are really good and it's the heat of the rut and the bucks are chasing and the bucks are hitting the ground, you know, the show's really fast-paced, there's a lot of action. But, you know, early in the season, you know, we're hunting just like everybody else is. Right. Same types of properties everybody else is hunting. When the hunting's slow, it could be a little tough out there.
Well, yeah, and then Justin, you know, with you talking about that, I mean, that's what really makes, in my opinion, our show cool. Is you're not watching things or our hunts that have happened a year ago. I mean, you are literally watching footage that was filmed. Some of this footage could be filmed within a couple of days ago, and that's super cool.
Well, yeah, I mean, as somebody who grew up watching a lot of outdoor television and having watched it with people who don't hunt, a lot of times they get the misconception that you shoot something every time you go out, or that you see a big buck every time you go out. Because when you watch some of these shows on TV, you know, they're afforded the luxury of cutting out a lot of that slow time, a lot of that downtime that happens to all of us. Well, with our show, you get to see it, and I think it's kind of neat because I think maybe you realize that our guys, you know, myself and Todd included, we're just like everybody else. We experience the ups and downs. It's not big buck after big buck every time we go out hunting.
Yeah, and believe me, it's been slow. I mean, I've been out at least on 6 different hunts, and I'm telling you what, I haven't seen very many deer. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, it's definitely been a little bit tough out there. I was hoping that last weekend was going to be a little bit more productive than it was. Saturday ended up being super hot and humid, next to zero movement. Sunday was decent, but then it rained, you know, all Sunday afternoon. So it was definitely a bit of a challenging weekend. But, you know, with all that said and out of the way, we do have a couple pretty cool hunts to share with you guys this week. So first of all, we're going to start off with Clinton Fawcett. He's down in central Illinois, going out on a little bit of a doe mission here. So let's check in with Clinton and see how he does.
All right, well, it's the evening of October 7th. It's my first time on stand this year. Frank's been working, so I've got a rookie cameraman tonight. My brother-in-law Ty's home from Texas. He's going to be home for a month, so after tonight, I'm going to start filming him. So hopefully in the next few days, you'll get to see a new face on Bowhunt or Die. But tonight, we're after a doe. I've got my lucky Todd Graff glasses on, or as close as I can get to his sweet goggles. But we're hunting over some beans and also some turnips. And what I did here is I row cultivated the turnips about a month and a half ago, put fertilizer in, and then turnips in the rows between the beans. So there's been quite a few does up here according to the trail camera. Last year, this is where I harvested my first doe of the year on Bowhunt or Die also, so this all should look pretty familiar to you. It's about 5:40, so anytime here things should get rolling. Oh no way, it's the broken leg doe. I've been hunting that doe. I missed that doe here. Last year. The night I killed the doe. Dude, she is smarter, sharper than a tag. We gotta be really careful. Oh yeah. Gotta keep up when you kill her. The little buck in the back. That's gonna be my last chance right here. Man, I don't know, Ty. It's just so far. touch back. We hit her just a touch back. But I think we're good. Been hunting that doe for 3 years. Shaking like it was a big boy. That's probably the smartest deer in the woods. We're gonna just sit here and let her sit there for an hour. Man, I'm pumped. I can't even talk. Yes. I wanted that doe so bad. We just got down. We gave her about 25 minutes. There's a doe fawn with her that was over there blowing. We're pretty sure, even though the shot was a little far back and quartering into her, we hit that artery. We could see the blood coming out real good. So we're going to slide over here and try to get her here before it gets too dark. Well, here she is. You know, it wasn't the best shot. I mean, we're not going to try to hide that. She was a little too far to be shooting at, I guess, but I shoot that shot every day all summer. Shot was good when it left the bow, but the only problem was she stepped forward and bent down from the time the arrow left the bow to the time it hit her. Just a testament to shooting a big broadhead right there. I mean, you either shoot a small broadhead for better penetration so you can get through the shoulders, or you shoot a bigger broadhead for circumstances like these. It did what we thought. We hit that artery when it went in her. We could tell by the blood that was coming out. I'm just happy that we got her. You know, this is probably one of the smartest deer on the whole farm. We've been hunting her for a few years. She will never come out there in that food plot any farther than what she did. She goes right out here on this bottom side and then immediately comes back in the woods. She's very, very smart. I'm just thrilled to get her and very thankful that the broadhead did its job. But just a good testament to a big broadhead, and also to why you don't take long shots, because as you can see, deer can move a long ways before your arrow gets to them.
You know, Todd, when it comes to bow hunting, you know, it's a very personal thing, and everybody makes their own decisions when they're out in the woods. And you know, I talked to Clinton about this hunt the other day after it happened, and he told me, you know, I've been shooting it 80, 85 yards is what I practice at out in my backyard, which is great.
And he does religiously do that.
Yeah, and that's great, and everybody can practice as far as they want, but let's face it, when you get out in the woods, the reality is deer aren't stationary targets. They move, and they can move considerably more than you may think, you know, in the span of less than a second, you know, and this deer is a prime example of that. Clinton went out with the sole intent of harvesting a doe. He sees one that he's got some history with. He gets a little excited, and in my opinion, probably jumped the gun a little bit on this one. Maybe took a shot that he shouldn't have taken, and you know, let's face it, he kind of got lucky with that deer hitting that artery and her, you know, expiring within 20, 30 yards. Personally, not a shot that I'm going to take.
Yeah, I mean, you know what, Justin, I'm going to agree with you. I mean, for me personally, I don't even practice at 80 yards. I mean, for me, I like getting them tight and close, man. I mean, for me personally, I like to hang my deer stands to get as close as I can. And honestly, I don't even like put myself in positions where I have those long distance shots. It's going to happen when you get into those food plots, but you know what, I personally would also wait to take that type of a shot, especially when it comes to the fact that it's a doe, it's early season, there's plenty of time left. But with that being said, I know Clinton definitely practices a lot. He did get lucky. He did find that deer. It didn't go far at all because he did get that artery. And you know what? He's got meat in the freezer, and I know that's going to fill up the freezer quite a bit and be good for his family. So.
Yeah, definitely. So next up, we're going to join Richie Music and his new cameraman, Michael Pearce, on another early season hunt.
Illinois. We're back on the Oak Flat Ridge. Conditions are perfect. We've got a southwest wind. It's 53 degrees. We had a cold front roll in last night. It's ideal conditions. Hopefully these bucks are up and on their feet today. It's been cloudy and overcast all day. It's about 3 o'clock. We just got settled in. We're going to sit tight and hope for some action. Bowhunt or die.
I just got a shot of doe. That's my first doe on video. I'm supposed to be filming Richie. And doe came in. She's been walking around for about 15 minutes. He said he didn't want to shoot her. If I want her, I could take her. Shot her about 20 yards right here. I didn't get a pass through, but I can see my launch pad right down there at the base. Lit up nice and red. Man, I'm jacked.
Do fine, buddy. Bowhunt or die.
Bowhunt or die, baby.
Real quick, I don't know what we're going to do for recovery here. The camera is literally soaked. We've been getting poured on for 2 hours. And she ran downhill. Man, all right.
Hey guys, we got very, very lucky tonight. As you can see, I didn't make a very good shot. I didn't get a pass through like I said earlier. That kill zone did its job. It took her out. We had no blood trail at all whatsoever. And Richie walked across the ridge, spotted down, and she was laying right at the bottom of that ridge. We had a small drag to the road, and you can see we got a nice big nanny doe here. Great way for me to start 2013 season, Northern Illinois. Bowhunt or die, guys.
You know, I was really hoping that Richie and Mike were going to put down a big buck. I know they've been putting in a lot of time together. Right. They've been doing a lot of practicing. They've got a great food plot and a lot of good stands to choose from. And one thing with this group is, I know Richie, Justin, kind of worked out a deal with Mike because he's primarily his video guy, that if a doe came out and it was a deer that Richie didn't want, that he said, hey, you know what, go ahead and shoot it. You know?
I mean, those guys are pretty hardcore. They're actually both bringing their bows to the stand, which I know for me, when I'm cameraman, I got enough camera gear that I'm lugging. I really don't feel like bringing my bow with them. But, you know, to their credit, they were able to pull it off. And, you know, speaking of having an opportunity to buck, I know those guys saw one of the shooters on the hit list for that farm, a buck they called double wide. They had him come in actually that morning, but it was too dark to film, too dark to shoot, which is kind of the story for early season. You know, a lot of these bucks are making their way back into their bed before light. So, I mean, they were close, and hopefully they'll be able to capitalize later this fall. So, I guess next up we're going to get some check-ins from me and you. Actually, the hunt you're about to see was Tom Alford and myself. We were only hunting about a mile away from Richie on the same farm. So let's check in and see how the weekend went. Well, we're headed west, finally, to get our Illinois season kicked off at our brand new lease. It is time to bow hunt or die. And I'm gonna bow hunt, and deer are gonna die. West we go. All right, we just got delayed by a caravan of farming equipment going down the road. We respectfully stayed behind them because we appreciate the farmers of America, and because Tyler Rector would yell at us if we passed them. So we're almost there. We gotta stop, get some water, some drinks for the morning. I did bring us some pumpkin donuts for tomorrow. So we're gonna be all set to spend a couple hours in a tree, get all warm and cozy together. So bow hunt or die, let's do it. Let's turn the light off, it's illegal.
Morning update. It's about 2 hours after light. We have seen somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 to 6 squirrels and heard 2 to 4 turkeys. And that's it. Pretty uneventful morning. I blame Tommy because he told me this is a really good spot. Me and Todd hung this stand. It's awesome. It's got everything. Bedding, food, water, magic deer, pixie dust. I think I've been garholed. Next time, we go somewhere else. So, we saw 2 deer, which is good. Unfortunately, it didn't end well for us. We had this doe and a button buck feeding down here in acorns about 30 yards from us. And I don't know what she saw or smelled or heard, but she didn't like it. She started blowing like crazy and took off out of here, so I think that probably wraps up our morning hunt.
All right, well, it's October 6th, afternoon hunt. Justin and I are heading up to one of the first food plots we planted out here in northwestern Illinois. We don't know how it's growing. According to our other food plot, we're getting a lot of afternoon feeding on it, so we didn't go check the camera up here, but we know in the past we've had a good buck kind of using that area, so hopefully he shows up tonight and we'll get a crack at him. Bow hunt or die.
All right, well, we just got set up in the tree. We were in here 2 minutes and we had a doe cruising, trying to make her way into our food plot. We were pleasantly surprised to see that it's actually growing pretty well. It's pretty green. The deer, we can see fresh tracks. We've got a couple fresh scrapes. Right over here, we've got a Tinks Mox scrape set up. And hopefully they start moving a little more. Bow hunt or die. All right, well, our first 3 deer of the night, adult doe with a couple doe fawns, came right into our food plot. They're obviously liking the winter wheat and the brassicas we planted. It worked perfect, she just got a little spooky.
I'm gonna try to take her. She got a little closer, but she's about 35 yards. All right, well, it's gonna wrap it up for our weekend adventure in Western Illinois. The morning of October 5th, 70 degrees, calling for a lot of rain this afternoon. This particular spot is new for me this year. I came in here earlier, beans were on both sides. It's a nice draw, good trails, little water hole below me. It's more of a travel corridor. The deer aren't doing a lot of moving right now. They're hung up more near food sources, but I wanted to get in here, try this stand out. Because when the rut kicks on in the pre-rut, I know they're going to be moving through here. It's a cool spot. Well, that's going to be it for me this morning. I got the little number buck bedded down right here. I'm going to have to spook him out of here, but the deer did exactly what I didn't think they would do. I was hoping they were going to come from the top down. There's a lot more food source up that way, but they ended up coming from the bottom up. What are you going to do? Always learning when you're in the whitetail woods, that's for sure. Finally got great temperatures. It's cooled off. I'm going to a stand, which I haven't hunted in over a year. It's a beautiful spot. I'm down here. I don't know if you can see the bank behind me, but I'm actually down here to where I can sneak into the stand with making the minimal amount of noise. So I call it the big oak stand. It's right ahead over here. Well, it appears that morning hunts are not working for me. I got one more evening hunt left tonight. I'm going to check the wind. I'm going to make a few adjustments here. And, just keep getting ready. Each time I go to a stand, I make sure my hooks are in the right spot. I make sure my ladder sticks are perfect. You just make sure everything's perfect. So when that opportunity presents itself, you're ready to go.
Justin, for me, I feel like I failed when I've come back and I wasn't able to film any bucks for the show and so forth. It's not that I didn't see any bucks. I mean, I had great hunts, and it's something that people always, it's one of the first things you do when you talk to people. Hey, did you have a good hunt? I know I'm on the phone driving home. It's like you got 30 different people to call, and you're like, hey, how did you do? Did you have a good hunt? And in my case, you know what? It's not, having a good hunt doesn't mean you shot a big buck. You have a deer on the ground. It's all the knowledge that you learn about the stands that you're hunting. I mean, in my case, I saw 3 different bucks, one of which I would have shot, but the key that I've learned about each one of those hunts that I had is my stands are still good, and I'm very close to the proximity of those deer.
Right, well, obviously getting close is the key to killing them, and like you said, we also saw a good buck on Sunday night in the rain. He came out last light. He was across the field. I couldn't film him. There was just trees and branches in the way, and and I feel bad because it's like, here we had a buck come out that Tommy would have shot. I mean, he had his bow. He was ready to go. It's a deer we got trail camera pictures of. Worked a scrape. I mean, it would have been awesome footage, but earlier in the year, there's just branches and leaves in the way.
Right.
I didn't do the best job of trimming that standout when I hung the camera set. So believe me, I've already packed my expandable pole saw in my truck for the next time we go back there. I'm hacking those limbs out of there because all those deer came in the same spot. So ultimately, we've had some pretty good hunts. It's been a little bit slow, but it looks like next week we got some cold weather moving in. I'm seeing some 30s in the forecast, so hopefully things are going to start to pick up.
Hey, with that being said, let's go ahead and take the time now to congratulate the people that actually did get deer. Clifford Martin,
Aaron Smith,
Shayna Hundley,
and Dylan Jock. Congratulations, everybody. Those are some great trophies. Now remember, if you want to see yourself right here in an episode of Bowhunt or Die, you can send us your images on Facebook, Twitter, you can email them to us, or click the Submit Your Trophy button on the homepage of bowhunting.com. That's all we got for this week, Todd. I guess we'll be back here next Friday with another episode of Bowhunt or Die.
Don't forget to check out facebook.com/bowhunting for daily updates, news, photos, and other exciting information. We want to hear your opinions and your stories, so join us now and like us on Facebook.
From the tree, over and out. No deer. From the no deer Turkey Ridge stand. Booner alert. There's the booner. It's right behind us. We ready? Let's go say that. It's cold.